He's somebody I've spoken to sometime. I respect for his own stance, political stance. I don't agree with him entirely. But in my opinion, by Gana, I feel Archbishop Nkea lied. And it's easier for people to bring up rhetorics that represent where they are leaning. There are those who believe that Archbishop Nkea is acting out of gross corruption based on his mentality. There are others who think that it is ignorance in political representation. All of this culminates to one thing, one and only one thing, not representing the true position of the people that he is called to represent as a Christian leader from a political gathering. Pastor Gana, please talk to us on this entire issue as we conclude this matter with the special status that Cameroon is still trying to push.
The first thing I would say is that when I look at that video, both the video from the clergy, Archbishop Nkea and Maitre Ndive, the first thing is, who empowered them to go negotiate on behalf of Ambazonia? See, when Ambazonians came out on September 22nd, 2017, with plans, marching, braving the army to declare the reassertion of the independence of Ambazonia, that all morphed and evolved into the interim government we have today, headed by Dr. Samuel Sako. That is the legitimate representation or the legitimate representatives of Ambazonia coming out of our September 22nd declaration. Now, we know Archbishop Nkea was there. We know Maitre Ndive was there. And by the way, I know Maitre Ndive very well. He was my classmate in CPC Bali. Let me ask you a question. Could President Sako go and attend that Grand National Dialogue in Cameroon and come out safely? Could Defense Secretary Zama go and attend that Grand National Dialogue and come out safely? Could Dr. Abiedu go attend that Grand National Dialogue and come out safely? See, what the government of Cameroon did, and us even talking about it is not it wasn't about a grand national dialogue. It was a grand distraction, distraction from what is the legitimate will, the legitimate aspiration, and the legitimate desire of a people. Saddled, rooted, embedded in their legitimate right. The right of a people to be sovereign. So, to first negotiate about what is legitimately a people's, you have to first bring the legitimate leaders of the people of Ambazonia in a legitimate forum at a legitimate location. So the fact that they were going into Yaoundé to discuss about the status of Ambazonia or the status of French Cameroon or whatever they were discussing is first and foremost a fraud, because that is not the right forum to discuss it. When the government of when the representatives of Southern Sudan were negotiating with the Northern Sudan for the independence of the South, they were not going to Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, to negotiate that. They went to independent locations where where the genuine representatives could be there and where they could genuinely speak their mind. So first of all, the whole Grand National Dialogue was a fraud. Who elected these two people, Maitre Ndive or Archbishop Nkea? The government handpicked them. So this whole talking is just static. And that's why I asked the question, could President Sako genuinely go represent Ambazonians and come out safely? The answer is absolutely not. Some of us were invited and we didn't go. We know of people who are adherents or tools of Atanganji who were elected and went there. And listen to what Maitre Ndive is saying. He's my friend and a brother from college. He's saying, I stood up. It was because I did this. Ambazonia is not about I. Ambazonia is not about some individual who is seeking some grand stage to promote their own self interested aspirations. When La Republique will be genuinely interested in negotiations, it will happen within the conduct of an international forum where it will be at a location other than Cameroon. So any negotiation that is taking place within that bastardized triangle called LRC for our independence, for the regaining of our sovereignty, is a fraud. And we will regain our sovereignty. We will reassert our independence. These distractions cannot go on forever. So the words of Archbishop Nkea versus the words of Ndive are all static. It's neither here nor there. It is not happening on any legitimate forum. Secondly, when you go to UN resolutions 1514 and UN resolution 1608, you can read all of those resolutions. None of those resolutions talked about some elites of some province deciding for the people of Ambazonia. In fact, UN Resolution 1608, Article 5, talks about the executive authority of the Southern Cameroons meeting with the government of French Cameroon and Great Britain to discuss the status of the Southern Cameroons. It doesn't talk about some elites. And at that time, we had the Southern Cameroons House of Parliament, who were the legitimate representatives of the people. Neither of these two are legitimate representatives of Ambazonia. Neither of these two are legitimate representatives of the Southern Cameroons. If we were to have an electoral process to elect representatives through conduct by a genuine international forum that guarantees the safety of participants, they might be there. They might not be there. But it will not be a forum where people are coming out talking about, I took this position, I representing the people of the Southwest province, hogwash. In genuine Ambazonia, the Northwest and the Southwest does not exist. Let me repeat that. In genuine Ambazonia, the Northwest and the Southwest do not exist. The Northwest, even them talking about Northwest and Southwest, is us falling into their trap, because the creation of the Northwest and the Southwest are instruments to divide us and keep us talking against each other. I come from Batibo. I'll tell you, Batibo is not a grassland region. Batibo leading into Widikum is already the forest zone. So to talk about us being part of the Northwest, the graph is false. During the British rule, Batibo, which was part of the Widikum area, was part of the Manfe division. So talking about Northwest versus Southwest is all hogwash. And the interim government of Ambazonia has rightfully delineated the region
Yeah,
of Ambazonia.
the government, not the interim government, the government.
The government. Sorry, the government. And the
That's
government
okay.
of President Sako is the legitimate representative of Ambazonia. The Ambazonian State Army, which is a product of the Ambazonian federal government, is what gives power to these pretenses of people going into forums and saying, this is the Southwest position here, this is the Northwest position. Hogwash. So this whole conversation is part of the distraction of French Cameroon using divide and conquer tools, and we should not even pay attention to either of these people. Because as Barrister Fru know, we will get into a genuine negotiation where the terms are going, or where we'll be negotiating on the exit of French Cameroon from Ambazonia. And any negotiation that does not focus on regaining the sovereignty of Ambazonia is bound to fail. It is dead on arrival. Thank you.
That's amazing. I would say your involvement in conclusion with this conversation just brings it, gives it a breath of fresh air because it rubbishes what we have been wasting so much time even arguing, which is I thought was necessary and very important. That was why I really insisted that all the different perspectives from the legal minds be a part of this conversation. I understand that we have some people, if there are those who may want to call in to react to this phase before we move into the ICC, which the three of you, I cannot be more excited to have the three of you here now this afternoon when we want to talk about the ICC. Honestly, the excitement in me right now is worth it. So I would like the number is on the screen, and that is WhatsApp call only. For those of you who are watching us, you may want to call in right now to make a contribution on this aspect so that we can talk on the ICC in conclusion for tonight's program. So those who are watching us, if you want to call in now, you may call in. But now, Maitre Ndive Lisinge spoke on special status, and he even said he wanted to make a presentation. We know what that is. From all of you three, and less than 90 seconds each, I want us to give Ambazonia's position when it comes to this whole Cameroon's agenda of a special status. I'll begin with you, Barrister Fru. Not more than 90 seconds, because the next segment will even be more elaborate. I'll begin with you, Barrister Fru.
Who is La Republic who is La Republic of Cameroon to dish out special status to a partner, a supported partner? The United Nations did not make us a province of La Republic. They said we had independence by joining, and they defined the terms of the joining and said that we were supposed to meet the government of the Southern Cameroon and the government of La Republic of Cameroon with the UK. We're supposed to sit down and agree on the policy that will be applied in that arrangement.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like confederation.
Yeah.
But it never took place.
Yeah.
And we were invaded by La Republic of Cameroon. The word special status is a fraud, of course, usually by La Republic of Cameroon. Who are they to assign any kind of status on
The
an
question
independent
is,
people?
who are they to
On the
assign any
independent
kind
people? Who are they? Who are they? What gives them the standing? If you look at Resolution 1514 and 1608, read all that together. We were under a different colonial master, the UK.
that's
I will call
Cameroon's
it
arrogance we already know
trust
about.
territory. Trust territory, Class B trust territory under the UK, and La Republique de Cameroon was Class B trust territory under the French. And for some
So
reason,
that's the
they wanted us now, because La Republique had independence before us. They wanted us now to have our own independence by either joining Nigeria or joining La Republique. Poncha did what he did to get us to La Republique.
We have 90 seconds to handle that. And that's some of the arrogance of Cameroon that is costing lives of many people today.
So the position of this government is we want nothing short of our sovereignty restored. Nothing short of that.
We have a caller that has a
Nothing short of that. Special status is a fabrication of La Republique, and they have they don't have the right in international law or in their local law to impose special status on us.